G'day, mate, and welcome back to Factorio in transitioning the Megabase with me, JD. And it's done. It's done. It's all up and done. You see, 7,000 satellites launched. I lie. This is my creative world, which I have spent 4 days. 4 days I've been in this, trying to get all the builds for just the last 2 science packs, just space science and just high-tech science, building and running at the speed that we require, 3,000 packs per minute. And as you can see, there are still some problems to be worked out. Space science needs silos, which I built a silo, which need low-density structures and rocket control units and rocket fuel, which comes from oil, which I haven't touched oil in this particular attempt, I guess is the way of putting it, because oil is a separate build which in theory is ratioed out correctly, and it's going to be a nightmare to try and incorporate it into this build, so I ignored oil for the moment. But of course, low density structures need copper, which we're importing, steel, which all of these are steel smelters to run just this. Copper, which is being pulled from this copper smelter and this copper smelter, like across the map. Even just making satellites, which is, thank God, it's backed up at the moment, and it's not properly incorporated into the map. It is sort of, we're importing steel and copper. No, we're importing iron and steel, and I'm magicking in copper and plastic. And we're now making all the green circuits, all the red circuits to make blue circuits with all the low density structures, all on site, along with the solar panels, to try and get satellites working. But even that needs like 2 full steel builds with a half steel build and a half iron build. Speed modules need to be fed by 2 red circuits plus a green circuit. This green circuit's trying to feed that. Plus, it's trying to feed, thanks autosave, right in the middle of my little introduction. This green circuit build is also trying to feed this blue circuit build? No. Green circuit's trying to feed something else. This red circuit, that red circuit. Oh, and speed modules. And a green circuit build needs a dedicated copper and iron, just the same as a blue circuit build needs a dedicated copper and iron. High-tech science needs batteries, which we've got, plus 2 whole blue circuit builds, which means they need their own half a green build with a half red build. So I've modified a build to give me half of each, right, to pump into these. But then again, a blue circuit build, no, greens go up to, where do greens go? Greens go into making the reds. So I have a green circuit build that does 3,200. No, I have a part green to feed a part red. Yeah, this is the craziness of this base so far. So I have a slight positive in the green circuits of 350 per minute to make 5,800 reds. The reds feed these 2 blues, which feed the high-tech science. High-tech science needs copper and iron to be delivered. Each blue circuit build needs a whole iron and a whole copper smelter to feed that, with a little bit of excess going over to make batteries. It's a nightmare. And like I said, I've spent 4 solid days trying to get this far. And as you can see from the production stats, I don't even have a solid 3K at the moment. Trains end up being short, no. I'll find a build real quick that's just oh, here you go. Speed modules. It's got no green circuits. Green circuits are down here. No, that's greens for reds too. Greens for red 1. Oh, the train just arrived. So this green circuit build is not making green circuits fast enough. And it's probably because I can't get copper off the train fast enough. Or iron off the train fast enough. You know, there's always some problem with some build. I just tried extending it even further, and I'm like just over the edge of my robot build area. So it means either extend the roboports out further, or try and work out how to get ore in here faster, or offload it on the trains faster, or there's always something. So, for the meantime, we might be a little bit short on episodes for the Megabase. The good news is the belt base will take over. All right. That's sort of the best compromise I can come up with. I can't magic up getting this worked out faster because, as you can see, even as it is, all the train lines are spaghetti, but that's okay. They're all temporary. The idea is to try and get the system working. So, we're going to quit that and exit that entirely and go back to normal Factorio. And we're going to go back to where I was up to. So, I've had quite a lot of runtime happen. I let the bots finish building out all the solar. And I've recalculated the amount of solar I need. And basically, I need everything you see on the screen to become solar panels. So, that's led me to a couple of new decisions. First one is, even though we've got oil set up here, and I really thought I'd have enough room where oil was, oil's going to move. In fact, the whole base is going to move. We're going to probably build to the south, maybe to the east, probably not to the north, definitely not in the west. We're basically going to, after I work out how to get all the builds working together neatly, we're going to pack up all the builds, which was the intention anyway. We'd all built them. I built them all temporarily, you know, to just slot them down and try and work out what was going to go where. And as you can see, I'd already tried to sort of place them out with enough steel. I know I needed 7 steel smelters just to get the rocket control units working. And I got to 4 and I'm like, there's train tracks in the way. There's a green build in the way. There's a copper build in the way. There's this whole, all this is going to be in the way. So that's as far as I got before I decided, no, let's go to creative mode and let's try and work it out how to do it properly. So what I'm actually going to do instead is I've got a science lab build which is ratioed out to do exactly 3,000 science packs per minute. We're going to jump on the train. And I just want to get somewhere near all of this chaos. Do I have a station anywhere near? Yeah, Z2. Good. And we're just going to spend a couple of episodes just going over each of the builds. I did make up my master blueprints. So this is every single build as it was popped into a giant blueprint book. So, and I noticed when trying to take said blueprint book and move it over to the other builds, there was quite a few things that were less than perfect. No, it's not the build I want. It's the next build down. So here I was requesting not enough materials, because after I had 30 and 30, after I had a couple of stack inserters grab what was available, there'd be nothing left. So all these requests have to be increased just slightly to something ridiculous, to be honest, because it's much better to have too many items than not enough items. And there's one on that side. Do that one. Do all of these. So for the next couple of episodes, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be double checking builds, optimizing builds, confirming that everything is good to go. Because the main point of the creative map experience is me to work out how the builds slot together neatly. Okay, so this is... Oh, that's the other thing I did. I joined a lot of these networks. In fact, all of the networks together. So the train could come out and it could just drop off items, and the poor 52 construction robots I have can go along and fix things as required. Now, this takes in 10 items to produce 1 item. And we always want our requesters to be as close as possible. So I actually want this requester down here, and then a provider, and then a requester, and then a provider. To give the bots the shortest travel distance possible. So it actually means that whole build needs to be picked up and demolished and flipped. Which might sound like a little bit of a pointless exercise, but in the grand scheme of things and trying to save as much UPS as possible, it's all these little things that really add up over time. So we're just going to strip out all of those. I'm going to paste that down, and then the other thing I want to do is I want to bring that closer. That goes there. That goes there. Let's just paste these in, and then I'll change them manually. Actually, let's go do the whole southern side first. Where'd that blueprint go? Yep. Cancel, redeconstruct. Okay, so we want that one, oops, that one on that side instead. We'll grab just that. Paste, paste. That can go, that can go. That can go, that can go. And that can go. Where'd that blueprint go? So this time they've actually got to come out the north end. We're going to need an assembler in each of these positions, doing again speed modules. I do have someone request, good. We need to insert backwards and then pull in from this side. Okay, so that's that end of speed modules done. Just got to do the other end. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. Please put that blueprint on my toolbar. There, there, and there. Flip these inserters around. Change that to a... Whoops. Copy, paste. Now, some people might say a lot. Yeah, my requests seem to be awfully large. My attitude when it comes to requests is, as long as they're done, it really doesn't matter. Sure, when a train first pulls in, you're going to get a massive bot surge. when they're trying to put 200 into each one of these builds, even though the build only uses per second 3, and really, like, you only need 30 seconds worth, you know, when they're going such a short distance. Yeah, we need 225 for a minute's worth just to feed this one machine, and some machines are doubled up. But my answer is, as long as they're that initial bot surge I can live with, because the idea is as soon as a train comes in and unloads, the next train to come in and unload is right behind it. Okay, let's go look at red circuits next and blue circuits. So straight away, this is one of the things I noticed about blue circuits. Obviously when I mirrored it, I hadn't paid attention, and the output chest was all the way up at the wrong end. But it's fine down here. You know, it was one of those faults in mirroring. Remove that. That blueprint's disappeared again. That goes there. Thank you. We want that there. We want that there. We want that one removed. We want that one removed. I want that one removed. I want that there. That's a blue circuit build. We've got a green circuit build down here, which did have a problem of this side was one tile too low. That has been fixed. And I'm not going to actually... So the green circuit builds is something I found in creative mode that had to be modified depending on what they were feeding into. So straight away, like you can see that this build could be put here and here quite easily. And in some cases, when I was on the creative mode, I needed to do that to get the extra production. Actually, we just looked at one recently. In other cases, wasn't really required. There was a few other problems, like I'm missing a substation there, so those last couple of beacons are not even powered. So that was a fix that had to be done. There's just a lot of little tweaks that will matter in the end. Might not matter right this second. Red circuits. You're doing copper, you're doing copper, you're doing red circuits. Copper, copper, red circuits. And you are outputting... Again, this is one of those issues. See, this is close. This is further away. That's even further away. It's the question of, do I have a requester? Do I have a requester here and a requester here with a passive, and a passive? Or do I have the way I have currently with 3 requesters and 2 passives? And probably the answer is 2 requesters with 3 passives. Because of compression, it means the bots have to fly a little bit further to get to this chest and this chest, but they're only going to dump in 2 spots rather than 3 spots. And again, that's something I will probably go into creative mode and physically test that one to make a decision. This is smelting. We're doing, this is a copper smelter. So we've got copper, 1 copper in equals 1.2 copper plate out. 1 copper in, 1.2 out. 1 in, 1.2 out. And again, I've got these 3 requesters and 2 providers. And the question still comes back to, which is better? 2 requesters with 3 providers or the other way around? And it's one of those things I honestly can't answer. I really have no idea myself. Same with my train lines. I've got room for potentially 3 trains. A lot of these builds were set up with the same blueprinted 2-train system. There are some things like blue circuits, which needs a copper unload, an iron unload, an acid unload, and a red circuit unload. So that either needs 3 train stations, or it needs me to turn that off. Bring in an acid train and sort of park it on the side somewhere. Which is possible. Everything is possible. All depends on how it fits in its final build, and its final configuration. Again, that's iron. I have chosen to belt around the fuel. Because that's one of my conditions. Fuel can be transported any way possible. So I think it's going to be better to have one requester chest, where a fuel train, again, each build's going to need its own separate fuel train to come in and drop somehow into the network, and it might end up being, look, it might end up being straight onto a belt and then fed into this belt spaghetti to feed the train's fuel. It could end up being into a chest right at the back of the build or something, and then bots move the fuel over. The fuel's not a big movement item, especially with rocket fuel needing, well, having 1.2 gigawatts worth of fuel. We're not going to move around a lot of it. In fact, a lot of it's going to be sitting on belts doing a whole lot of nothing. So that's a blue circuit build that's broken. And the 3 blue circuit builds are needed for 1 for the rocket control units, and then 2 for high density science. That's it. Or yeah, high tech science, not high density. That's where all 3 blue circuits built. Yeah, go. The 4 red circuit builds. And that's the catch. That is one of the catches I found. I only need 4 of these. You produce 7,000. You need 2,000. So 1 red circuit build does 2 and a bit blue circuit builds, but not quite 3. So this is where half the spaghettis come from. Why do we have trains backed up? Did somebody run out of fuel? Yep. Because you still don't have fuel delivery. Like gears, I haven't even placed a gear build yet. I have no idea how they work. Well, I know how they work. I don't know if they're going to be ratioed out correctly. It's a little bit of a mess. It's a little bit of mayhem. No, blue science has already been shortened. Where's that train track? Miners have already been packed up. That's the whole miner build. That's the whole of military sites, or most of it. Some of it got stolen by other builds as I walked past. But those 2 trains are ready to go. They're on the main line. All I got to do is choose where they go, dump down a station, and place them. But yeah, so that's what's happening over the next couple of episodes. That, and we're going to finally build in the Great Wall. All the way up to here and then all the way across. I'm going to finally put in that shortcut. And probably that's all that's going to happen this week. I have a feeling next week it'll end up being mostly the belt megabase. Sort of so the belt megabase can catch up, and sort of so I can actually spend enough hours in creative mode trying to get this whole build to work. Or the whole base to work. At the same time, our lovely little green circuit build ran out of copper entirely. We mined out this copper. So I had to bring a train out of our copper depot. Which is good, because it was full. It's still very much full. Same with our iron depot, is still very, very, very much full. And our steel production is not nearly enough. Well, it's keeping up with the bus now. Where is the main lines of the bus? No, the bus is looking alright again. What's that? Plastic? Yeah, plastic. Plastic always needs a boost. So something else we might do. We might run a plastic train across to help out the main base. So, there's a couple of little things we're going to do, but mainly we're going to take a break. I'm figuring in about a week, worst comes to worst, 2 weeks, I'm going to catch up. On same time next week, you know, Far Loan Sales is coming out. I've got a couple of new Let's Tries that are going to be coming out. So, not going to be short on content, just need a little bit of time personally to try and get this stuff done. Because, as I said, I spent 3 days straight doing nothing but playing around in creative mode, like 8 hours a day. And I had nothing but headaches and things not working quite the way intended. It all ratioed out, but in actual practice, right, trains were too slow, they didn't load fast enough, they unloaded too fast, all sorts of problems. So, just tweaking things little bit by little bit. But that's it. So, thank you guys for watching. As always, I do hope you've enjoyed this little quick episode. I will have another quick look over all the builds, see if there's any other places we can come back and double check and optimize. If there is, we'll slide them into the next couple of episodes. Otherwise, I don't know. I guess we'll get back onto building the Great Wall to keep the biters back. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. All right.